Hi friends, happy Wednesday. Welcome back to our Read Aloud for today. Today we're going to continue hitting our learning target of being able to answer questions about apples. That's helping us understand the main idea of our nonfiction text about apples and learning facts about that so that we can build our schema and understanding for all things apples. Okay, so we started our nonfiction text that says, how do apples grow? So in this book, we learned about how apples grow from seeds to what? Seedlings, to blossoms on an apple tree, to apples. That is called the life cycle of an apple. It repeats itself over and over again. Because when you get an apple, what's inside of it? A seed. We saw that in our book. Inside of an apple are the apple seeds. So once we get those apple seeds from the apple, plant them again, they start to grow to a seedling. The seedling starts to grow into a tree, and then the tree grows blossoms. And then the blossoms from that grow the apples. And it just continues to repeat itself over and over again. Do you guys remember in your schema about apples, how many years does it take for an apple tree to grow? 6. Very good. It takes 6 years for an apple tree to grow. Very good. Okay, let's see what else we know in our schema of apples. How do the farmers get the apples? What do they do to them? They harvest them. So our farmers are the ones who help us with the apples, and they harvest them. Okay, good. Let's see what else we learned. We also learned about what season the apples grow. What season do apples grow in? Fall. Very good. So look at all of this information that we have now learned about apples. We may have just known the color of them and that we can buy them at the grocery store and that they grow on trees, but now we've built more information in our brains about apples that we can draw from to learn about them. Okay, so yesterday we answered the questions. Where do the apple seeds grow? We said on farms. What grows from the blossoms? Apples. What do apples look like after they have grown all summer? Big apples. Okay, we're going to continue answering some more questions to build on our schema. Today's the last day that we're going to look at this book, and then the rest of the week we have a different apple book so that we can continue learning about them. So the next question is, in which season does the text say the apples are ripe? And we just answered that. But to help us remember how to look up information, we're going to still use our clues here. It says use a caption or the words on page 6. So just to double check, I'm going to flip to page 6. Remember, our numbers are at the bottom of each page. So I'm looking for number 6. Okay. So right here at the top, it says, in the fall, apples are ripe. The farmers pick the apples so we can eat them. Ripe red fall apples. So right there, 2 times on this page, it tells me the apples grow in the fall. So underneath here, I'm just going to write the word fall. All. So I'm going to spell the first letter is a F. Ah. What sound do you hear? Ah. O. L. Good. Now, this is not how the dictionary spells the word fall. This is not the actual spelling of it, but this is how we hear it, and this is how we start to learn the correct spelling by first sounding out the words with our letter sounds, and then once we start to know and learn about chunks and when letters are put together, then you'll learn the real way of spelling this. You may already know the real way of spelling this, but in kindergarten, when we're starting to spell words on our own, we're spelling them by sound, and then we start to move towards the dictionary version, okay? That's also training our brains to learn to know how and why we put word sounds together to make words, okay? All right, very good. The next question is, who picks the apples? So we know the answer to this, but we're going to train ourselves by looking up the information. So it says, use the photograph or caption on page 6 again. So I'm already on page 6. We looked at this picture to help us with our last question. So this time I'm going to add a farmer harvests the apple. I'm going to look at this caption and picture, and I'm going to add farmer to my answer. So I'm going to draw a picture of a smiley face, because I'm sure farmers just are so happy when they get to harvest. And give them some eyes. I'm just going to use my brown for that. Okay. And then I'm going to give him a little farmer's hat. And maybe some hair sticking out. All right, so here's my farmer. If you can see it, it's kind of far away. All right, and then I'm gonna label it, which means we're gonna sound out that word to match the picture to show farmers are the ones who harvest the apples. Farmer. What's the first letter I need to write? F. R. M. R. S. Farmers. Very good. Who picks the apples? Farmers. Very good. All right, last question. What do people do with apples? It says to use the words or photographs on page 7 or use your own schema that you already know about apples. So let's use our book since we're practicing that. And I see I'm on page 7. And we see they sliced, ate off the core, and also made applesauce. So in our picture, I'm just going to draw a little bowl. Since this is a new piece of information for me, I'm going to draw a little bowl with some applesauce in it. Because I've learned that, yeah, applesauce does come from real apples. It's not just some goopy stuff people make in the kitchen somewhere. So here's my applesauce. And I'm going to label it with the word applesauce. Apple. A. P. O. L. S. O. S. Applesauce. Okay. What else do people do with apples? They eat them, like we said, sliced or off the core, but they also eat them with dip. Some people eat it with peanut butter. Some people eat it with caramel. So maybe that's some information that you could add there too. Okay, great job, friends. So you guys have answered all of these questions. We have one more thing to do for today, and that is visit our KWL chart with this information. So we will add, we did add 3 yesterday. Whew, my brain all over the place. But we'll add one more piece of information down here now that we have finished all 6 of our questions. So we learned that the apples go through the cycle, an apple cycle, where they start as a seed. They grow for 6 years, or the apple tree grows for 6 years. The apples do not. And the farmers harvest the apples. What's another piece of information that we can add to this from our book? So now that we've answered all of our questions and it made us think about that, we could add that apples are small in the summer because that is, they're still growing. So apples grow and are small in the summer. Okay, so look at all of this information now that you have learned about apples. This is information you may or may not have already known. If you did already know it, now you just reminded your brains of what you did know. If you didn't know about it, now you've grown your schema. You've added more to your toolbox in your brain about what you know about apples. So again, this is our nonfiction text. It's not made up, it's real facts. And whatever information that I want to learn about apples that's not found here, I can also go to other Apple nonfiction texts. This book is not the only book that has information about apples. So the rest of this week and a little bit next week, we will be reading our Apple books, more information about it. And we also may sneak in there a little bit of our fictional text again about apples. So have a great day, friends. Great job with your read aloud, and I'll see you tomorrow.